Hello, friends, and welcome back to another round of stories about entitled people. In this story, one neighbor's arrogance sparks a weekend-long standoff. When his party guests block the wrong driveway, he learns that sometimes the best revenge is just staying home and doing absolutely nothing. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. All right, let's get into it. The neighbor who learned the hard way. My driveway and my neighbor's driveway sit right next to each other, separated by a narrow strip of fence that runs the full length down to the street. It's not a fancy setup, just two suburban driveways side by side, but it's clear where one ends and the other begins. Or at least it should be. Now, my neighbors are usually fine. We wave, exchange the occasional "how's it going?" and mostly stay out of each other's business. Every summer, they throw a big party for Memorial Day weekend. Lots of food, music, laughter. I honestly don't mind it. Everyone's entitled to a little fun now and then. But last year, that changed. I came home that Saturday evening after running errands and immediately noticed something off. There were cars parked in my driveway. Not just barely over the line, but fully blocking my spot near the garage. The fence might as well have been invisible. I sighed, grabbed my bag, and went next door. The party was in full swing. I could smell grilled burgers, hear a mix of classic rock and tipsy laughter, and see kids darting around the yard. I found the homeowners, let's call them Bob and Cheryl, and politely told them that a couple of their guests had parked in my driveway. I asked if they could have them move the cars. Bob looked me dead in the eyes and shrugged. "I don't have to," he said. I blinked, thinking maybe he'd misunderstood. "Well, you're right, you don't," I said evenly, "but your guests do because that's my property." He smirked. "They'll only be here a little while. You can park on the street." That's when I decided not to argue. I smiled, turned around, and went back to my car. Then I parked directly behind their guests' cars, close enough that there was no way they could leave without me moving mine. Hours later, around midnight, the doorbell started ringing. Then came the knocking, then the pounding. Apparently, it wasn't so funny anymore now that they wanted to leave. I didn't answer. I turned off the lights, turned up the TV, and ignored every sound. I could hear muffled voices through the door, people pleading, one guy shouting something about needing to work in the morning, but I wasn't budging. They parked there without asking, and I was under no obligation to fix their mistake. The knocking finally stopped sometime after 1 a.m. The next morning around 11, it started again. Relentless knocking, then ringing. I opened the door this time, hair a mess, coffee mug in hand. There they were, the same guests from the night before, looking tired, hungover, and furious. "Can you move your car?" one of them asked. I sipped my coffee and calmly said, "I don't have to." Then I shut the door. It was a long weekend and I wasn't going anywhere until Tuesday, so I didn't. My car stayed exactly where it was until I had to go back to work. By the time I finally moved it, their cars were gone, probably towed or pushed out somehow, and I didn't ask how. Fast forward to this Memorial Day weekend, same party, same music, same laughter, but not a single car parked in my driveway. Guess some lessons take a year to sink in. Honestly, when I read stories like this, I'm just astounded that anyone would answer that way. I get that they might be unclear on who owns the driveway, but after, "Excuse me, you're on my half of the driveway, would you please move?" the correct response should be, "Oh, sorry dude, I'll get my keys." What makes someone disrespect the property owner that way? And our second story. The day my ranch turned into someone else's HOA. My name's Ian Reed. I'm 48. I drive a 2010 pickup that drinks a quart of oil every 600 miles, and I had a granddad who, back in the 70s, bought 50 acres somewhere out in the sticks of our Canadian province. He preached one thing his whole life: keep your receipts, and keep what's yours. Before he passed, he left me the land, a smoky little note on a scrap of paper, and a box of stubs that smelled like tobacco and axle grease. I didn't get out there for 3 years. Divorce, kids, work, taxes. Those I paid on time, about 7-something grand a year. Come August, I finally clawed my way to the property and just about slammed my fingers in the door. Instead of pine woods, there was a whole subdivision. Straight streets, curbs, streetlights, fresh houses copy-pasted in rows. On a rock by the entrance, Maple Ridge Estates. At the gate, guard shack. On every other porch, still boxed furniture. Residents only, the guard said when I pulled up and held my phone out with a photo of my granddad's deed. I'm a resident. Actually, I'm the owner. And I'm the Queen of England. Turn around. I didn't have time to answer before a white Range Rover rolled up. Out stepped a woman pushing 50, skin smooth as a TV anchor's, eyebrows like two 911 calls, dressed in white linen like a commercial for light summer heavy money. Problem, Ray? She asked the guard, not looking at me. Says it's his land, Mrs. Whitfield. She finally looked me over, slow, assessing like a package she didn't order. Oh, how sweet, she smiled. If you're looking for work, we've already hired crews, but you can leave a number. I'm not looking for work, I'm looking for my land. Land? She flicked through her phone. Our attorneys ran a title search. Parcel was abandoned. Adverse possession. We have the right. This is a community now, not a void, and if you hang around, I'll personally call the police. She snapped a photo of my plates. She smiled, but her eyes were cold. I drove off. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the wheel. That evening, I spread everything I had on the table. Deed, granddad's notes, my tax receipts, cadastral cards. Then I called the lawyer they'd recommended to me, Amrita Singh. Don't stop them, let them build, she said after hearing the whole story without a single In our province, most parcels are under the land title system. New adverse possession claims don't take root there. Their stories smoke. If we stop this now, we'll set off banks, insurers, 90-plus families. If they drive this to the line and we walk into court with the full package, you won't own a forest, you'll own finished houses. And them? They're selling what they don't own. It's fraud in a shiny wrapper. And if they start going after me, they will, she said calmly, and we'll document all of it. A week later, I was labeled a stalker, first on the community Facebook page administered by the same white linen lady. The post, a man has been seen in our family-friendly Maple Ridge photographing children and saying odd things about ownership. Police are aware, be careful. Photo of my truck right there. Comments like a fairground dumpster, arrest him, ban list, woodsman. A private investigator showed up at my son's work and hinted to the manager that our last name was in databases. Sabrina Whitfield, that's how she introduced herself the second time, started posting sunshine letters on the page. Reed disturbs our peace. Reed provokes residents. Reed smokes in public. I don't smoke. When I parked on the public road with a camera, she'd come to the gate with two helpers and shout my way. Ian, crawl back into your hole. Take your rotten pickup with you. We've got people here, not tree trolls. You'll be begging in court. They laugh like a bad sitcom laugh track. Guard Ray made a show of turning so my camera caught his radio and vest patch. The picture, their order, my threat. Social media loves that. Amrita kept repeating, screenshots, video, save everything, and silence. Do not respond. I kept quiet, but my hands itched. For the 60-plus crowd, let me put it simple. It was like sitting in front of the TV watching those old Sears commercials while the remote's locked in your son-in-law's garage. You see the nonsense, but you can't change the channel. Week 3, Graham Whitfield appeared, Sabrina's husband, a partner in some fund, shirt blowing like a flag, watch that could have bought me a new engine. No more community, now it was a deal. $25,000, he said over the phone. Quick claim, you just let it go, that's it. You're joking. Ian, I have projects coming out of my ears. I've seen dozens like you. You think the law is for you? It's for people who can juggle it. That isn't you. That evening, Amrita sent me a file, short, 2 paragraphs, internal memo from their fund. In black and white, we know the owner pays taxes. Under land titles, adverse possession won't fly. But if we get permits fast and sell, chaos will do the rest. Worst case, insurers eat it, or we bankrupt. We've done this before. Where'd you get this, I asked. Reliable source. These people always find a conscience when they smell court, Amrita said. That memo's your body armor. What followed was dirty and predictable. Code enforcement got an anonymous complaint that I dumped construction trash on the wooded section. Inspector came out, looked around, clean. He shook his head. Not the first time with these folks. My employer got a call, reputational risk. My boss gave me 2 weeks paid. Come back when the legal dust settles. I know you, but the school district hired this project, and they don't want noise. Someone spray-painted drunk across my garage door? I wish. Booze is pricey these days. My DMs filled with give up and you're nobody. I came home one evening to find my door ajar. Nothing missing but a note on the table. Quit or lose everything. Police came, looked around, said, if it's their private dick, that's hard to prove, but we'll patrol. Sabrina staged performances. She'd walk out with her vest wearing assistants and crank up her voice like an old radio. Folks, this man is back photographing children. Call someone, get him hauled off already. Ian, go find a forest and sit in it. You leave out the truth in every sentence, I said. Is that talent or habit? It's business, Sabrina said, flashing teeth. In January, Amrita filed in Provincial Superior Court declarations to quiet title, trespass, unjust enrichment, deceptive statements, plus a motion to bar any sales or marketing. The judge granted a temporary injunction. At the first hearing, everyone showed the Whitfield's lawyers, a title company, local officials, a reporter from the local TV station. We move to dismiss, the Whitfield's lawyer droned. As my client has rights by adverse in land titles, the judge raised an eyebrow. Show me how. It's complicated. I'm sure it is for you, the judge said. Motion denied. Amrita laid Graham's memo on the table. The room went quiet, like a library at the exact moment someone unwraps a sandwich. We're setting this for an expedited hearing, the judge said. Any activity related to sale or transfer is enjoined. After the hearing, the TV station asked for an interview. I kept it simple. I don't want to take homes from people who bought in good faith, but I won't let anyone steal from my granddad. The law isn't there to be blown past at highway speeds. Perfect, the reporter said. People need to hear this. That's when they really went off the rails. I got greetings from the tax agency, a 3-year audit. I'm a plain and salaried engineer. I don't even have write-offs for creative consulting. We'll subpoena the PI's records, Amrita said. If it's their hands, it's another brick in your wall. Graham tried the direct approach, catching me on the shoulder of the road. You think you won because of a memo? Kid, the world works another way. Money's a language you never learned. There's a language you didn't finish reading, I said. It's called the letter of the law. Sabrina put on another gate sideshow. Get a close-up of him so our moms know this guy. Oh, look, his phone again. Guess he doesn't have a life. Reed, you'll be sweeping our streets when you win. When you lose. Deposition started with Graham. Amrita worked like a surgeon. You knew the owner was paying taxes. Our title people advised, did you know? I was told that, yes or no? Yes. The title company cracked. They admitted to a premium for expediting. They produced emails where a manager wrote, adverse possession under land titles could be an issue, but client is willing to take the risk. Risk is a nice word when it's someone else's land. The inspector testified, pattern of fake complaints. The cop testified, intimidation. The mail carrier testified, shoveling me piles of sunshine letters. Before the main hearing, the TV segment aired. Shots of the new houses, my interview, the permits, a short recap of Graham's memo. Coworkers texted, hang in there. My boss, back Monday, we're with you. Then it got truly ugly. Someone broke into my house again, took nothing, left 5 words. Quit or lose everything. Neighbor Carol got the plate of a black SUV. Police logged it. We breathe, Amrita said. A few days to trial, they're already stumbling. Court day, packed room. Some Maple Ridge residents came to watch, some because they were scared. I saw Sarah Chen, the one who cried on the phone, what's going to happen to our homes? She held her daughter's hand. Sabrina in cream, Graham with a fresh lawyer, title company beside them, 2 others, bank types probably. The judge walked in and cut the circus off at the knees. Amrita's opening was cold and clean. She put up a digital map of my site visits, date-stamped photos, registry pulls, tax receipts for several years. She gave a brisk land titles explainer. New rights by adverse possession do not mature here. If they hadn't matured before conversion into land titles, the discussion is over. She placed Graham's memo. This is not a mistake, this is a scheme. Sell what isn't yours, hide behind banks and insurers, worst case, bankrupt the shell and run to the next project. The defense flailed like an infomercial host for Miracle Cookware. Loud, not persuasive. On cross, Graham drifted, tangled dates, admitted he'd seen the title emails and understood the risks. Sabrina refused to testify, invoking the right to remain silent. Ruling tomorrow, the judge said. In the hallway, residents gathered around me. If you win, will they evict us? Sarah asked. No, I said, loud enough for the hall. I'm not against you. I'm against the people who lied to you. You'll keep your homes. Next morning, the decision dropped. First paragraph hit like a hammer. Defendants executed a systemic scheme of deception. The land belongs to the plaintiff. Construction and sales occurred without legal foundation. The court confirmed my title to the entire parcel, awarded damages and attorney's fees, and referred the fraud and bribery evidence to law enforcement. The title company, disciplinary referral. The Whitfields, a future that makes normal people's spines go cold. We didn't stop. Now came the hard part. Before asset distribution, Amrita bought 2 toys our opponents hate. 1, a Mareva-style injunction, asset freeze, bank accounts, corporate wallets, even dad funds for lawyers. 2, an order to produce documents with immediate supervised access to servers. The judge granted both. The room went so quiet it was like someone hit mute on a movie. Graham's face looked like a man seeing a check with no zeros for the first time. Sabrina bolted to the hallway. This is political. We'll rally the community. Rally a spin class for all I care, Amrita said. Just keep your hands off other people's land. Then came the financial uppercut. The bank asked Graham for additional collateral. He had none. The next week, defaults on the loans. The lender pulled personal guarantees. The court appointed a receiver. The receiver opened the safes, physical and digital, and started a yard sale. Office furniture, equipment, warehouses, mock-ups of future projects. The money was laughably short. The tax folks took interest in charity and consulting expenses. They tacked on penalties and interest. The title company got a license suspension. Partners scattered like roaches under a light. At the same time, we filed separate civil suits against Sabrina's HOA for defamation, interference with business relations, harassment, and invasion of privacy. Against Graham's companies for fraud, unfair practices, unjust enrichment, trespass, and civil conspiracy. We tightened the screws with personal guarantees. Thank you for signing what you didn't read. Sabrina's HOA was nonprofit on paper and her private theater in real life. We pushed an audit. Where did the beautification dues go? Why was the light pole contractor her relative? Why did her friend's print shop get the flyers gig? The audit chewed her nerves. The court reached into her wallet. Personal damages for defamation and harassment, a ban on holding leadership roles, a lien on her house, our attorney's fees. That set off a chain reaction. The insurer hiked premiums, the bank saw the judgment and jacked her rate. Sabrina missed a few payments, collection notices hit, then power of sale. Short version, she lost the house. The villain wasn't the system, it was her mouth and her signature under dumb ideas. Now for the scene people recounted for months. Wet pavement day. Sabrina filming a story from her car, screeching about judicial tyranny and a squatter's paradise. One hand on the phone, the other on a latte. Her queenly crossover kisses a concrete divider at the entrance to the community that used to be hers. Airbag, like reality, slapping her across the face. Thankfully, no serious injuries. The car, though, totaled. Insurance denied. Phone while driving plus lapsed inspection. For the senior crowd one-liner, they say money loves silence. Theirs loved Facebook Live, so it drove straight into concrete. The receiver finished liquidating the portfolio, banks got their pound of flesh, tax got theirs, contractors clawed a little back. Amrita and I squeezed the personal guarantees all the way to actual collection. Graham lost the toys he had left, plus a ban on him, Sabrina, and their shell companies from doing development in the province for a few years. I kept 5 acres in the far corner, the spot Granddad always pointed to. Let that grow. I put up a small house. Mornings smell like sap. My son comes on weekends to help with firewood. My daughter brings her law student boyfriend. Says Amrita inspired her. On the fridge, we've got Sarah's kids drawing, a house, a son, and me with a big key. The caption says, Mr. Ian. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.